Hey guys, and welcome back to the Spruce and Linen channel. I'm Janelle, and today we're going to talk about two-color diamond twill. So let's get started. If you haven't already, you're going to want to watch our diamond twill tutorial before diving into this tutorial. I'm not going to be going in as quite as much depth in this video as I did in the original diamond twill video. You can also get this exact PDF completely for free by signing up for my email list at spruceandlinen.com. So I'm basically going to show you how to take this same diamond twill pattern and turn it into a two-color pattern. So what we're going to start with is we're going to just start coloring this in. I'm going to be using, this is some Loops and Threads Lush Alpaca, and this is Lion Brand Thick and Quick. You definitely want chunky yarn for this, and I'm also doing this on the Becca loom, which has a 5 ends per inch versus my normal 4 ends per inch, and I found this worked better for the two-color diamond twill. So basically what we're going to do, like I said, we're turning this into two colors. So just get a pen or a marker or anything like that, and you can follow along. Basically what we're going to be doing is we're going to make the outline one color and the inside another, and then the opposite here. So I'll just get started and show you. So I'm going to start by coloring in these blocks, which would be this section as well. And that's what we're going to have colored here. So in my case, I'm going to have my colored darker blocks as my slightly darker colored yarn, and then these lighter ones will be the lighter yarn. So in here, I'm just going to color the middle sections. And then over here, we're going to do the complete outline of the diamonds. Basically what's going to happen, and you'll see it in a minute here, is we're going to be treating any row that has more than one color as two rows. So we'll go in one with the darker color for this first row, and then one row with the lighter color here. You'll see how this all comes together, but just keep that in mind. This is going to change our floating warp ends and what we do. So you can kind of ignore what's written here, and if you remember from the original diamond twill pattern tutorial, these rows basically just make it so you're not disrupting your pattern. So because we're doing these kind of extra rows in here, this being an over and this being an under is going to change almost every row. So you can kind of ignore having to for sure go over, under, and just do what you need to on those last strings. So if you're, for instance, coming over, say we're coming under here for whatever reason, you can go over on the next one. And again, I will explain this a little bit further once we get started. The other thing you're going to want is a paper to just kind of cover up the other rows so that you can really keep track of where you are. So just for a quick recap, again, if you need more detail on this pattern, check out the diamond twill tutorial. So any of the colored in squares is an over, and any of the empty blocks is an under. So that's one block equals one warp string. I have warped my loom with the same amount of warp strings that is in this pattern, just for sake of ease. And we're just gonna jump right in. On my loom, I have 27 warp strings to just follow this same pattern. And I'm going to be starting with my darker color. So those squares that I have colored in with the pen are going to be this color. Now, the easiest thing to do for this is to just kind of cover up all the other rows so you can really just read one row at a time. And just to get myself started here, I did put a few rows of plain weave in, and I'm just going to go ahead and get started. So in this case, for this first row, we're going to go over 3, under 5, because remember this block is our other color. So over 3, under 5, over 3, under 5, over 3, under 5, over 3. Then we're going to go in with our other color. And once again, this is a lot easier when you have more than one tapestry needle. And here you can see we're going to actually go underneath 5, over 1, under 7, over 1, under 7, over 1, and then under 5 again at the end. And that is our first row complete. So now I'm going to scooch this paper up and work on the second row. I'm going to start with the darker one again. And now this time around, we're actually going, so again, this is one of those cases where this actually does match up with the pattern, but it won't later. So I'm going to go under 1, over 1. We're going to go underneath 7, over 1. Underneath 7, over 1, underneath 7, over 1, under 1. And I'm just letting this little tail hang out there underneath. So now we can go in with our lighter color, and that's going to be, in our case, we're going to go under 4, over 3, under 5, over 3, under 5, over 3, under 4. And you can see here, this yarn is actually just hanging out just back here. I didn't actually take it over the edge, and that's just gonna give us this cleaner edge. And what's nice is that these other colored rows are kind of going in between these ones. So now we can move on to row 3. So now you can see we don't have any colored in blocks anymore. So now we're actually just going to be working with the lighter color. This is going to go exactly how it would normally. So we're going to go over 1, under 2, over 2, under 1, over 2, under 3, and then continuing on. And then again, same thing with this row. There's no darker colored blocks, so we're just using the lighter color. Now, just as a reminder, with a diamond twill, in this scenario, you don't want to be beating it all down too hard, or it's going to kind of convolute the pattern and you won't see it quite as much. So now we can move on to the next row, and you can see here, we once again have the darker color in there. So I'm going to start with the darker color. So in this case, we're going to go under 5, over 1, and you can kind of see it in the pattern. So we're going over only in the middle of these half diamond shapes. So it goes under 5, over 1, under 7, over 1, under 7, over 1, under 5. Now we're back with the white, and we're going to do just the white block. So over 3, under 5, over 3, under 5, over 3, under 5, and over 3. Now we can move on to the next row, and you can see once again, we're only going in with the lighter color. So the next row, once again, no darker colored blocks, so only using one color. Now we're going to be bringing back in this darker color. So again, here we're way back here with this, but it's okay, just come up through here. So it's under 1, over 1, under 7, over 1. And then going in and finishing off that row with just the lighter colored blocks. So we're going under 4, over 3, under 5, over 3, under 5, over 3, under 4. Now you can see that we're starting to make the same diamond shape we did here, but with the darker color in between. So we can go over 3, we're going under 5, over 3, under 5, all the way across. Then back in with the lighter color, and we're just doing over the tips of the diamonds. So if you don't want to count, you actually don't have to for this one. You can kind of see we're just going over the one little string that's right above those diamonds. So I had these ends looped and it didn't look very good, so I'm just gonna undo that. So now you can see that we're on a row with only the dark color, so we only have to do the one color. Now we're back to having two colors. So I'm going to start with the lighter color. Again, we're just going into the center of those diamonds. So if you don't want to count, you can just figure out where that center string is. And then once again, going in with the darker color. So we're back to a row that also has the lighter color in it. So I'm going to start there. Once again, we're just going into the middle of these little V's, so you don't necessarily have to count if you don't want to. And then back with the darker color. Now we're at the end of the pattern, but the only difference here is we're actually not able to start back at this first row. So we've just done, you can see how this is repeating. So we would start back on row 3 instead of on row 1, if that makes sense. So we've already done with the lighter color. We've done that one and that one. So now we would go to this row. So I'm going to continue on until I have another white diamond on top of this section of the dark. So that's where I'm going to stop because now I have a symmetrical pattern. You can see we have a row of the dark diamonds here. We have 2 full rows of the light, and then we have these beginning little sections of the dark again. So before I tuck in all these ends, you can see the back here, we've got quite a lot of loops, and that's where that came in, where in these certain sections where we've had 2 colors, we had to go under a lot of strings. So this is totally normal for the back to look that way in this case, but you can see we've got that really nice pattern coming through on the front. And that is how to turn that same diamond twill pattern into a 2-color diamond twill pattern. I love that it adds just some extra interest to it by doing that 2-color, and obviously you can really play around with the different color combinations. I definitely recommend whatever your warp string color is. I'm using like a brown here. It would look even more pronounced if I had used black warp string, but I definitely think having a contrast between this and whatever you're using as your weft will definitely really bring out that pattern. All right, you guys, so there is a 2-color diamond twill. I know you guys have been asking for this for a while, and once again, you can get this pattern for free by signing up to my email list at spruceandlinen.com. If you like this video, please hit that like button, subscribe, and click the bell to get notifications when I post new videos. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Cause I'm gonna tuck the ends in. They need to make a robot to do this job because it's definitely the most annoying one.